beloved. I thank you so much for joining me on the Prophetic Vessel Show. This will be your message from God, Ra, Allah, Source, the Divine. I'm grateful for your time. To those who are keen on becoming members of my Patreon, on my Patreon, I offer weekly sign readings for $10 per month based on love as well as spiritual path. On my Patreon, I also offer personal readings for $50 per month. You get a personal reading from me every month based on love, spiritual path, as well as career and finances. The link to my Patreon is listed down in my description box below, or you can join my Patreon by typing what is on the screen via Google, search it, and it will lead you to my Patreon website. All right? Thank you to those who have already. I truly appreciate you all. Without further ado, let us tap in and find out why we're spiritually led here. What is here for you, beloved? Why did you resonate with the title? And why did your own YouTube algorithm present you with this message? Let us tap in and talk to God, okay? We have the 10 of Pentacles here. Now, with this 10 of Pentacles energy, we have Taurus energy, right? What I'm seeing here is like, I feel like from birth, right, from childhood, when you were a lot younger, from like, it's either from birth, childhood, infant, toddler, teenager, adolescent, all right? Even down to, your adulthood. There has been things that you've experienced that could have brought death unto you, all right? But I feel like the things that you've experienced that were meant to bring death unto you, it's like the spirit of death has always been so close and up close and personal when it comes to you. It's like so close you can smell it type of energy. We have the Knight of Cups, Scorpio energy, and the Eight of Cups, all right? So I feel like what I'm seeing is like you in the beginning of this all, where you realized how much danger really was lurking and lingering in your life. It was like, it puts you in the state of being of like having this form of awareness where you realize that God really has his hand over my life. Because I wouldn't have been able to make it out of A, B, C, and D if God had not had his hand in my life, on my life. Because what I'm seeing here, beloved, is like there were many attempts of death that had struck your life. Brought upon by people and brought upon by spiritual warfare. Where your life was not meant to get to this point. You were not meant to get to this point. Your identity was meant to end at an appointed time. If these spirits, these people had their way, it would have been over. You would have been dead. And that's the sad truth. But it is what it is at the end of the day. You would have been taken out here. It's as if it's gotten to a point where, whether you realize it or not, you have an interconnected, you have a personal relationship with death, the spirit of death. I feel that God put you through all of this so that you don't fear death. God took you through the fire so that you don't fear losing your life. The only thing you should fear is God, is what God is saying. You should never fear losing your life. You should just understand how protected you are from death. How protected you are from the things of life, from people. That's what these almost death situations were meant to teach you. They were meant to teach you about your protection, the protection that hovers over your life, the hand of God in your reality, in your world. We have Libra energy, we have Capricorn energy, we have, okay. So you were meant to be taught, right? You were meant to be sort of like taken through the process where you realize that it's not you in control of your destiny, your fate. It is God. Because if it wasn't God, if it was really the people in control, if it was really the spiritual warfare, the spirits, the entities, the deities in control, you would been taken off of this face of the earth, okay? It would have been a situation where you were not alive. The attempts on your life were very heavy. We have the devil energy here. It was like you were spiritually targeted and you were physically targeted for a very long time, even till this day. That's the thing. It's even till this present time. That just comes to show how present God is in your life. You shouldn't feel a type of way about death. You should look death in the face and say, the only person that can take me out of here is my maker. And no human made me. No spirit made me. God formed me. If God didn't want me to be alive, my mom would have had a miscarriage. If God didn't want me to be alive, things wouldn't have happened the way they did in my life. So I'm here for a reason. Now, whether the reason is to be figured out every day or I already know it, I'm grateful that I'm here for a reason. I'm grateful because now the spirit of death brought purpose in my life. It made me realize that I'm not just here to serve myself. I'm here to serve as living proof of God's presence, God's living breath, and I'm here as a testimony to those who are failing to find Him. That's you, beloved, okay? That's your energy. It's as if you were taken through so much, where God even brought you so up close and personal to death, you really, at some point, struggled to understand how you made it out of this spirit of death. It was so close and personal that you had a hard time processing, why are you still here when that happened? When that could have taken me out, or who could have done what to me, to you. But God wanted to make you best friends with the spirit of death. A best friend is like having a form of understanding, having love, having appreciation for death, not looking at it as just physical death, but evolution. Because that's what death is. Literally, you are not who you were. You are not who you used to be. That version of you is dead. What they used to be, what they used to know you to be, that person is dead. And death occurs not just in the physicality, but in the actual spirit. Where someone can literally transform in such a way that nothing that they used to resonate with, they can ever even look at it now. It will creep them out to be in the same places that they used to be in, to do the same things that they used to do. It would literally creep them out. Transformation can occur, and someone can change, and not just change, but die. And death is countless times. You can die many a times. Look at how many times I've died in a year. Go back to my first video and look at me now. Look at how many times I've died. I saw a comment the other day. Let's take that as a reference point, a case study, an example, an analogy. This comment read like, I can't believe this was just a year ago. When I first stumbled upon this video, I couldn't even recognize you. I didn't know it was you. Take that how it resonates. Okay? We have the Page of Swords energy with the Six of Swords reversed. We have Aries energy with the Six of Swords reversed. And we have Gemini energy, as well as Aquarius. So what I'm seeing is like, God wants you to have like a perspective shift. Stop looking at your life as something you have control over. Start surrendering to the lack of control. Because when you surrender to the lack of control, you give him a chance to show you how present he is. But if you keep trying to, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta go there, I gotta do that, and you think that you can control the outcome of your everyday life, you are not giving God a chance to be who he is in your life. You are taking things in your own hands, and one day you're gonna crash. That's why surrendering is significant. It's like a way of life where you are in a situation, you're like, you know what, I did my best. I did what I could. I tried. I gave it my all, and I can only just let it be. And when you stand in that energy of letting it be, that's when you give God a chance to show himself. You literally open the door. You call it in. You call God in by not being God in your life. Stop thinking that you can control anyone, anything. You are not God. And that acceptance within yourself and that faith and belief that there is a God in your life, playing his role, doing his thing, it puts you in a position to have a relationship with him where you surrender once and you get delivered. You surrender once and you get saved. And you do it again. And now you're no longer just doing it because you want to see if you're going to get saved or delivered. You're doing it because you know you're going to get saved and delivered. Time and time again, you're going to be revived. Time and time again, you're going to dodge death. And time again, you will have to be a testimony. Let's tap into the layers here of this energy. I didn't see these. We have the Page of Swords. God wants you to have a new way of looking at things, all right? Whenever you're in a position or circumstance that you can't figure out, you don't know, don't lean on your own understanding. Just surrender it. In that moment, let it be that. Let it be that. And how you let it be is you accept that you don't have it figured out. You accept that you don't know what you think you know. Because look, it's not doing what you thought it was going to do. It's not going how you thought it was going to go. They're not doing it how you thought they were going to do it. And it's not in your hands. And when you accept that, you rid yourself of the control you had thought you had all along of anything. We have the Two of Cups to the Emperor. It's like God wants you to surrender as a test, like test him. Okay, God, if I let this go and I don't try to do this on my own and I call upon you to help me figure this out, I call upon you for an answer, I call upon you for a way forward, a way out of this. situation, this circumstance, this relationship, this burdensome environment, anything, this overwhelming financial instability, anything that you're dealing with, if you lay it in his hand and say, you know what, I don't even know how this is going to go. I don't even know how this is going to happen, but I don't want to know, because I know that there's a God in my life that has his hand hovering over my life. Because if there wasn't a God in my life, I would have been dead by now. They would have taken me out by now. But because I'm being revived, I'm being given the breath of air. I wake up every day and God says you will live. You will wake up and you will do what I have called you to do. And the enemy that has stood against you will have to watch and watch and watch, and death will come to them. Because death will come to everybody. Just at my time, says God. We got the King of Cups here to the sun, to the moon. This is the moon, not the sun. It's like a lot of things in your life, I see they didn't make sense. People that were in your life that you thought you could trust, things that happened to you that you thought were, it's like you thought it was on you. You thought you were doing something. Like, it's like you need to realize that it's not you. It is God. Take your living breath as proof of God's presence in your life. Seeing as these attempts were meant to kill you, why are you still alive? Why was there a situation where you could have been taken out and something happened that put you in the energy to prevail over the enemy? Why? That isn't you. Don't ever forget God's presence in your life, and God's protection in your life is proof. It's proven by the breath you breathe, the air that still enters your lungs, the strength that you still have, the motivation, the ideas, the resources. You have what you need. We got the Six of Wands to the Identity card. Once you allow yourself to see God, how you see God is you allow things to be. If God is real, why am I suffering? I'm allowing you to take control of my life. Then allow yourself to show up and prove me wrong. That's the type of connection you should start to have with God. Don't be afraid to speak to God. Address God. You said, you promised that if I do this, if I let you have it, there will be an outcome that puts me in a better position. So why am I not there? Why am I still going through the same thing that you promised to break me out of? Answer me. You need to speak to God. You need to speak to God like He's the only thing you have in the life that you live, because He is. We got the Two of Wands. We got the Fool. Unfortunately, there are so many vibrations of life, frequencies and wavelengths that make us forget that there's always the unseen. Sort of like as above, so below. It would be amazing to have God as a figure of human being seated next to you and telling you this, that. But to be made in His image is to understand who He is first. People take it literally, superficially. Oh yes, I am God. I am a God. But what do you really know about God? Do you know the quotes that everybody throws around when something good happens in their life? Do you know the things that people say that if I say this, I think this is it for me? Or do you know God on a level of your prayers? If you don't pray, you don't know God, and that's the truth. God can be in your life even in a situation where you're not aware of Him. But to know Him, you need to pray. You need to speak to Him. You need to bow. Too many people are proud and have pride. They can't even bow to God. They can't even pray. When someone says praying, it's like, are you serious? Like, it just shows, man, you don't know God. But what I love about God is He knows you. And when you allow yourself to have a relationship with Him, you give Him the opportunity to show you how He sees you in His eyes. We got the Three of Wands to the Temperance. It's crazy because sometimes it's hard to pray. Sometimes it's hard to believe in your prayers, in what you're praying about, what you're praying for. But what will always remain is Christ. Like, yes, it's hard to pray, yes, you don't believe, but that doesn't take away God's presence in life, like in this whole thing that we live in. You will die and God will exist regardless. You will not believe and God will exist regardless. You will see somebody that believes and see the difference between you and them in life. And it'll be a mirror to you. Like, damn, maybe I should pray. Maybe there is something to believe. I just am not tapped into it. Because I'm listening to the society and what they tell me. I'm listening to the Google. I'm listening to what is being spoken, when I can speak myself to God and find my own answers within, and then have a relationship so that what is said, what is spoken, the quotes, what I'm seeing does not interfere in that. It should mean nothing to the connection I have with God, because the Lord I serve has worked in my life in this way. And I don't need anyone's validation and understanding and explanations to approve of that, because I pray. And with praying comes strength. With prayer comes spiritual covering, which is what a lot of people lack. That's why you're depressed. That's why you're sad. That's why you're miserable. That's why you're lost. That's why you don't know yourself. You don't pray. And if you decide to pray, you call in what you need. It takes nothing. With this hangman to the magician, it takes nothing to pray. It's like you pray and you call it in. What has been closed will be unlocked. What has been deprived from you will come in an overflow. What you didn't have, what you lacked, you will have plenty of. You have not because you ask not. Ask God. Don't ask the deities. Don't ask another human being. Don't ask anyone except God. And if God doesn't give you an answer, then come to me and tell me I'm a liar. Then you have every right not to believe. But before you can be in that energy, give God a chance, man. Give God a chance. Just stretch yourself out to God and let that mask fall. Cry. Let it out. Tell God what you feel He has wronged you by. Tell God what you feel He went wrong in your life and what you feel like He should have done. Tell it to God. And when you keep going to God, When you keep speaking to God, God will answer you in a way that you need, not in a way that you want. It'll come in a way that you need it, not in the way that you desire it. And when it comes, it'll deliver you, it'll save you, it'll nourish you, it'll heal you, it'll bless you, it'll prevail you. Because it's brought upon by God. Unfortunately, there is no blueprint to knowing God. It's an everlasting hunt. You need to seek Him. That's what He wants. You need to seek Him. As much as you can seek that job and seek love and seek the place you want to go eat at, or whatever food you want to order, you can seek all of that things and you find it. How about you seek God and wait until He shows Himself in your life in a way that will activate your belief. Don't give up just because you don't see what you want to see, because you will never find God. God doesn't work through what you desire and what you want. God works with what you need and what is going to help you. Because your desires could be the death of you. Wake up. I'm being called to end this message here. Thank you so much for joining me on the Prophetic Vessel Show. This was your message from God, Ra, Allah, Source, the Divine. I'm grateful for your time. If you're keen on becoming a Patreon member, on my Patreon, I offer weekly sign readings for $10 per month, based on love as well as spiritual path. On my Patreon, I also offer personal readings for $50 per month based on love, spiritual path, as well as career and finances. The link to my Patreon is listed down in my description box below. Or you can join my Patreon by typing what is on the screen via Google, search it, and it'll lead you to my Patreon website. Thank you to those who have already. I truly appreciate you all. I value your time greatly. Stay true to yourself so that you can seek God in a way of authenticity. Who are you? God says. Goodbye.